Okay,
Meeting called to order at 7:01. Doesn't look like there's anybody here for general discussion. Your dog's got to go out. So no general discussion. Approval of minutes. I don't think I gave them up yet, so we're gonna have to shelve it till the next meeting. Right, Al?
I honestly, I don't remember. My
Yeah.
brain is fried at this point.
We're gonna shelve it to the next meeting. I'll get them together. And so now I think it's you, Stu, ARPA.
we had an ARPA meeting today at 1:30, and this was a general meeting. And at this meeting, it was our intention, Al's and mine, to finalize the park project, excavation project. Carl Asimovic, how do you say that, Alan?
Esimovic.
Asimovic, I apologize. He showed up and was available for questions. We presented his fee of $7,600 for a total. Alan did present both proposals, and I was happy to hear that the 112 one wasn't even discussed. So we got to the final figure of 196,979, including engineering fees and plans. And after some discussion, not very lengthy, and a good endorsement by, what's that gentleman's name? Al?
Mike D'Amato.
Mike D'Amato was very high on this project and spoke very positively about it to the group, and that helped a great deal in limiting some of the concerns. But we voted, and I don't think there was one nay or one abstention, and it passed. We're going to go to the public hearing on July 11th. And we have invited Carl back for that as well, to answer questions, because he can do it a lot better than we can. And he did today. Just his presence was just huge, that people really couldn't object to it or extend it without good reason today. And Al and I spoke, we think they would have if Carl wasn't there. But he has a great presence with the town, so it went well. It went
Great.
well. We're
What
very
was that
pleased.
total number, Stuart? 176.
196,979.
Wow.
Big hunk of change.
Yeah. Okay. And the public hearing is 7:11.
7-Eleven.
That bodes well.
Yep.
I was told by a few people that that's really where we should try and have commission members and just in general residents who are in favor of this show up to that meeting and really sell them on it.
I agree. Well, we'll be voting too.
Yep.
Right? Aren't we going to vote?
Yes.
Is it a Zoom or is it a live?
Yeah,
Oh.
where is it?
Town hall, but it's Zoom and live.
Okay.
So anybody with a hand, a friend of yours, have them get on Zoom and vote if they so agree. The other item on the agenda was the Board of Selectmen raises that Erica is pretty hot on. That doesn't include elected officials, right, Al? It's not for
Yeah.
elected officials, it's for all town employees. And their raises and bonuses, it doesn't affect their base rate. So it doesn't have a recurring operating cost going forward. It's $32,250. And was that tabled, Alan? I think that was passed, wasn't it?
I can't
I pers-
remember.
And I didn't have a problem with that, voting for that.
That was ARPA money?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's ARPA money, yeah.
It's supposed to be for employee retention.
That's good.
Yeah, it is good. Nobody's paid a lot of money in the town.
Right. That's why nobody sticks.
That's why, no, but one of the reasons.
You
one
better
of the
stick,
reasons. Oh, what
Alan.
stays.
Stuart, thank you for taking time out and going to these meetings and doing this. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
It's been fun getting to know the town process, getting to know Al a little better. It's been a good introduction to this committee.
So there's something else for ARPA. I'm not sure if we discussed it at one of the last meeting, but the total amount, 36,000, was approved for our summer camp. Did we talk about that at the last meeting?
We talked about it a little bit.
Yeah, so that was approved. So that's why camp is cost free to Willington residents. And
And you
Yeah,
have how
it's
many
been-
signed up?
we have a lot signed up.
How many?
Yeah.
61?
A lot. It's been a nightmare the last few days. Let me say it like that. I mean, 40 plus emails a day, 20 plus calls a day, people walking into my office every 2 seconds. So it filled up really fast. Like I think we're probably we're probably in the mid 60s now.
What's
And
your cap? How many max kids are you having?
50 per week.
Wow.
And 3 of the weeks are filled. And the
Wow.
last 3, I mean, I'm just pulling numbers off the top of my head, but I know one of them has like 5 spots left. Another one has 7. So they'll probably be filled by tomorrow.
You say because it's free, maybe?
Probably.
Yeah.
Definitely.
That's a good number. But you know what? That is a really good use for ARPA money.
I agree.
Getting
Yeah.
people to come out, get them to come out, get over the fear. Hopefully, nobody will get COVID. But
Take a chance.
people are still getting COVID, huh? How are you, Ed? You all right?
Am I all right?
Are you okay?
He doesn't look all right.
I think
Why,
that's
what's
your
up?
hearing.
COVID. Did you have COVID, Eddie?
No, I didn't. Oh, I'm sorry. No, I did not. I never got it.
Okay,
Nope.
all right.
Okay.
Yep.
all right.
All right. Any more?
Well, thank
ARPA
you for
stuff?
asking.
Is there more ARPA things to discuss?
The only thing that I'm slightly concerned about is, there's a bit of defiance on the town's part not to go in front of the Board of Finance, and I empathize and agree with part of that. Part of that, I wonder why we aren't more involved with the Board of Finance, but we don't have to be, and I guess that's the reason we're not. So that's that.
Yeah.
But that concerns me when we go to $196,000 project for a public hearing, what's going to happen? And does the Board of Finance have a problem with us not approaching them on that? So it's not their money. It's not town money, so I don't see how they can be. And I know this is a recorded meeting, so that's about all I want to say about that.
I think the Board of Finance is really only concerned with those reoccurring expenses, hire somebody with ARPA money. How are you going to pay for it the next year? One-offs like, buying radios and an ambulance and hopefully the park. I don't think it doesn't have much to do with them. I don't think.
Well, the other thing that came up was when Erica was talking about the bonuses and raises, the fire chief spoke up and said, "Hey, what about us? We wanted some bonuses and raises too." I was, well, leaving emotion aside, Erica fielded that and said she tabled that discussion for another time. Because I think it is the kind of thing everybody wants a piece of. So that's up to the first selectman. I think she handled it well.
Okay. Who's paid on the fire commission? Is it just the chief? Or are there a group of people getting paid? I thought it was all volunteer.
One of the firehouses is volunteer. The other
Yeah.
one is paid. I think
Right.
there's 15 paid firefighters on staff,
Right.
Wow.
but they're not all full-time. So a bunch of them are part-time.
Okay. Huh. All right. All right. So that was a successful ARPA meeting, Stuart
And Alan, yep, it sure was.
and Alan.
Mm.
And I agree, having Carl there validates everything.
That was huge. It was
Yep,
huge.
he's a professional. Well, good for us. So now we just have to show up at the meeting in force.
Correct.
All right. Anything else?
I would just ask, Alan, when the time comes, could you send us a link to that meeting in case we don't go, just, you
Yep.
know, either we go in person or we have a link, but that'd be
Yep.
great. Thank you.
Good idea.
We'll make that part of the minutes.
It'll be on the town website too, for those that if something happens and you can't find it, if you don't have it.
All right, terrific. So if we're good there, the next item is exact wording for signage.
Oh, yeah.
I know, that seems like a long time ago at this
Yeah,
point. But this
where
is,
are we with that?
this is kind of where I was hoping that if we knew exactly what we wanted to say and how we wanted to say it, I could just leave this meeting and go in tomorrow or the next day and call the sign guy and say, this is what I want.
Mhm.
You know, and I know we've gone back and forth a lot, you know, in person and at these meetings saying, well, we should have this. And then, well, maybe we shouldn't have that. And then there's some things that we want, but maybe they're not phrased well, you know? So I think we really need to hammer that out tonight so that I can get those signs ordered. And I guess we're really talking about the baseball field. And what else are we talking about? Do we want to update River Road signs? Add
Are you
new
gonna
ones
make a
there?
comment sign for every park?
Yeah, that's what
Are
we
they
were
all
talking
different?
about.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
Let's
We
do
also,
it.
That's what,
we also have the, you know, what is it? We want to add something about grilling to River Road, right? No grilling without permission or something like that.
I think just
So that-
no grilling is good enough.
But didn't
Yeah,
we
I
talk
sent
about
out-
we were
I
gonna
sent
let
out an
them do it
email.
if they rent the pavilion?
Someone
You're
someone
right.
rents the pavilion.
Right.
But you know, that's if we don't have a sign, I feel like that's going to lead to some confusion there. You know, we go and force it. Hey, you guys can't grill here, but then we do let these guys grill. Seems like there maybe should be something there to explain it. You know,
All right, let's start with a list. So no grilling
Without approval.
I
without,
like that. I think that sounds pretty good. No grilling
or without WPRC approval. So that's one item, no grilling. You know what? I'll take the list as we build it tonight and then I'll send it all out to you guys tomorrow. And we can yay or nay it and red line stuff and send it back to Alan and he can have his signs made.
Look for my email. I sent a bunch of stuff out.
Yeah, I did see some of those
You can use that as a base, I guess.
about no golfing.
Well, I just took some ideas from other towns. I've talked to a few rec directors and they gave me some ideas.
I think
Okay.
no golf was already down there.
It
Yeah.
probably is.
But I think we're gonna redesign the sign and make it for all the parks. I think, is that what we're after? A common sign for every park?
We wanted to consolidate the signage, one at River Road. And I think we wanted common signs at each location.
Well, do we need signs for baseball field too? Right? I mean, that seems like that's going to be a lot of different things as opposed to a broad sign at a park.
So you want particular signs for Center Hall and Town Office Building?
Not, I mean, I think just the baseball fields need sort of their own signs. And then we can have other signs as well, like for just regular park area, I guess.
So is that what we're gonna do? One sign for River Road, because there are different things available there. And then the signs for the baseball fields are more particular to just a baseball field?
I mean, that's what I think. I mean, we were talking about including on the sign, you know, what was it? Fill in your holes or whatever it is we said, you know, after they get done playing baseball, they leave the holes and we wanted them to rake it in, right?
I thought so.
So, I mean, that's kind of what I'm talking about. Those sort of specific baseball rules shouldn't be on a common sign. You know,
Okay, so baseball should be definitely remove all garbage, right?
yeah. No alcohol.
Yeah.
Both should probably say remove all garbage, because Alan's complaining that people just leave it all over the place.
Yeah, I'm gonna add that on that one too. And I'm gonna add the alcohol too.
That is on River Road. River Road is, no alcohol, no glass containers, no littering or soliciting. No littering, that's there. No bicycles on walking path, no dogs unless they're on a leash. No vehicles past the parking lot, no golfing.
So it doesn't say no dogs, or should it just say pets must be on a leash?
Pets must be on a leash. You're gonna love this one. The dragging of chains or objects by dogs is strictly prohibited on the track.
That's mine.
That's,
So there must have been something that prompted that.
read that to me again.
We just added
The
that.
dragging of chains or objects by dogs is strictly prohibited on the track.
It's crazy.
So there must, something prompted that.
Oh, Alan and I saw it go down.
Yep. There was
Yeah.
this, the backstory is that a lot of people were bringing their dogs down to River Road and attaching long, heavy chains to the dogs and making them run around the track for exercise and training. And it was leaving, divots and trenches in the track. So people were actually calling and complaining about it, saying that, they're turning their ankle and stuff like that. And then I had somebody call me from the park and say, somebody has attached a sled to their dog and is having them pull them around the track.
Socks racing.
So that's why we have a sign that says that.
It wasn't poodles. It was like, big mean dogs, bulldogs.
And then
Roddy's.
there's a smaller bulletin board that's full of stuff. And I don't know if it's current or really what it is. Sailors aren't born, they're forged.
Yeah, I think that's just
Is that all current?
residents. I think residents just come and put whatever they want on there.
Well, if that's an open bulletin board, then that's fine,
For the baseball field, do we want no grilling without WPRC approval? Do we have a problem with people grilling at the baseball fields, or we're gonna pass on that?
I've never heard of anyone grilling there, period.
Yeah, I haven't. Have anybody seen anybody grilling there? Anyone?
No, but if it's on the River Road sign, do you want to put it on the baseball sign too?
I would think if it's on the main sign, it should be plenty.
Yeah, I agree.
But we're talking about two different signs, one for River Road and another sign for the 3 baseball parks.
Oh,
Are you gonna have a separate baseball sign for River Road?
I don't think so. Well, I guess we could, but no,
Near the-
because it'll be too much overlap.
Near the field? You wouldn't,
We're
you
gonna,
wouldn't
but we're
put
gonna
it?
add some of that stuff on the River Road sign. So for the infield, repair all holes in infield, is that the appropriate word, or divots in infield?
Is divots, I guess, sounds better than holes. I guess. I don't know. I feel like there could be something better than that even, but it's not
Divots-
coming to
divots
my
is a-
mind.
divots is a golf term, so.
It is. So give me a baseball term.
Um,
How
I
About
will
groom
put-
the field after you.
I'll put divots in parentheses because we
Foot
want to,
traffic,
well, we definitely want to say holes or divots or something, like at the pitcher's mound or the batter's box. But repair all holes, divots, whatever. I'll figure a good word out in the infield. Left following practice or games, something like that.
Yeah.
We're not expecting anyone to rake out the infield. We're just looking for them to clean up their holes.
So I have another one that I actually took this picture from the pavilion in Stafford, and it says all gatherings must be concluded by 8 p.m. Do we have a time limit at River Road?
Time to our lights turn off,
not if we put lights in.
right?
Is it 10?
So right now, the lights on the field are 10. The lights in the parking lot are 11. So when we do get those lights in the back of the field for the walking path, they'll probably stay on till 10.
So do we want to include all gatherings must be concluded by 10 PM?
Sure.
That way we're kind of throwing it out there as a set rule, right? Hey, get ready to get out of here by,
Why don't we just
9:45.
say
and-
park closes at 10?
That's good.
Why do you mean conclude meetings? Just say park closes at 10
That's good. Yeah, that's good.
or
Yeah.
hours of operation. You
Park
know,
closed at 10 PM.
sunrise to 10 PM.
Not so confrontational. Yeah, it's nice.
Oh, yeah, actually, we have to have a start and stop time. So park is open sunrise to 10 PM? Is that what we're
Okay.
saying?
Yeah,
And how about baseball fields? Park open sunrise to sunset?
Yeah, we have no lights, so
Oh, I had another one here.
I don't know if we even need that, but whatever.
I'd go without saying.
There's
Well,
another one that I have here. This one I feel like is worth having down. Children must have adult supervision at all times.
Yeah,
Okay. On both signs?
I don't know. I mean,
It's
probably,
everywhere.
I don't know. How often do kids go down and play baseball by themselves? Does that happen a lot? I don't know.
never.
well, the coach might
Leave
be
it off.
responsible for him.
We can leave it off the baseball sign. So far you've got no grilling, no golfing, remove all garbage, no alcohol, pets must be on a leash, tracking of chains or objects by dogs is prohibited. Park open sunrise to 10 PM. Children must have adult supervision at all times. Then for baseball, remove all garbage, no alcohol, remove all some word in the infield left following practice or games. Park open sunrise to sunset. What else do you need for baseball?
I don't know. Any other ideas? I mean,
You can't stop people
considering
from
all the
playing.
stuff we just went through with the field, I don't know. Nothing's coming to mind, but I know we had a lot of things to talk about.
Yep, but all those rules for like, the using the infield rake and all that you've taken care of that. Those are rules not to be posted. Those are for the people that rent the field, right?
Yeah.
Do we say something about the baseball fields, if the field's rented, you can't be, only the people that are renting it can be on it or, something like that? Because you rent the baseball fields out, right?
Yeah. Only to that one group though.
So don't worry about that.
Yeah,
Somebody
I don't
gets
think
there
so.
and they have a game, okay.
What I want to do at some point, I just haven't had time to really think about it or implement it, is I want to have something that goes out to everyone who rents something, whether it be the pavilion, basketball court, baseball, whatever, something that goes out to them and essentially have it be proof that they did in fact reserve or rent it to show people,
Yeah,
hey, you need to get off because I reserved it.
they're
I
permanent.
haven't gotten that far yet. That's something that I'll probably look at in a month or two when it slows down a little bit,
Call it a permit and create a permit for use. Approved by you.
So I'd have to put dates on it.
Why not? Yeah.
No.
So create a form or find a form, call it a permit, they're paying for it.
Right.
So if someone goes to the park and is having a wedding, they've got a permit that says they're having a wedding from, whatever time to whatever time. You put time limits on it, right?
It is for a designated amount of time. You know, it's
Plus, you also-
whatever they choose, you know?
So if I rent the pavilion, is there an expectation that they get everything else too? Or is it just the pavilion?
Just the pavilion.
Is that how you say it?
I mean, I think it's worded very clearly on the application for use form. So I'm not, I don't think that's a thing to worry about.
Okay. What else we got, fellas? What other no's do we want to throw at the general public?
I wrote, River Road facilities are available for Wellington residents and their guests. I don't know if we have a lot of out-of-towners or if we care.
I think we do, and I don't think we do care right now.
I think we get a lot of people from Stafford show up.
I hear that basketball court gets used by people from Tolland and Stafford. Because you're right
It's a
on the
nice
highway.
court. It's a
It
nice
is a
court.
nice court. Oh, off topic, but pickleball. CIP. I should have had that in general discussion. We'll talk about it later. We'll make that can we make that an agenda item for the next meeting?
Yep.
We have to get that taken care of. We don't want to lose that. Okay. So far, 9 things for River Road and 4 things for baseball, 5 things for baseball. Remove all garbage, no alcohol. Replace all, some word for holes in a ball field in the infield, left following practice or games. Park open sunrise to sunset, no glass. And then when I send them to you guys, maybe there's an order you want them in. But probably the first thing should be park open sunrise to sunset,
Yeah.
right? The first
Yep.
item. Okay. What else?
So,
That was Melissa. Is Melissa the gal that did the Wellington Day?
yep, she just got back off. Yep. Was that it? I guess.
Well, I mean, I've got 9 items for River Road and 5 for baseball, and I can send them out tomorrow, and that's probably the way to do it. Look at them, order them, add to them, subtract, whatever makes sense.
Do we want to put anything about location of tools or anything to help fix those? Because somebody might come onto the field, use it, and then go, how do they want me to fix it? You know?
Okay, so that's for the baseball field.
Yeah. But do you
That
think
should
it's worth
be-
putting on there?
Repair all divots in the infield, left following practice or games. Where do you leave those tools?
I just leave them in the dugout.
So I'll
But I
just,
know we were talking about maybe doing something a little bit better than that, maybe a shed or maybe somehow lock them into place so people can't steal. I'm not sure. I don't think we quite figured that out last time because
You
we
have
just kind of
those
said, I'm
tools?
going to leave it there.
are there tools in the dugout right now?
Yeah,
Have you lost anything?
no,
Did you write property of Wellington Parks and Rec?
no.
I would do that. And I think I'd
Good
put
idea, yeah.
what is it, a rake and a shovel? That's it, right? Rake and a
Yep.
shovel? And a
Yep.
bucket, maybe a bucket? So you could carry clay?
Yeah,
And then
I'll- go ahead.
hang those 3 things. Isn't there a wood roof on top of those cinder block dugouts?
I don't know.
Yes.
Is
Yeah,
it?
there
Yes.
is.
So could-
Richie Mindeck did those, I think. For an Eagle project. So, and then maybe put 3 big hooks and right under one hook rake, under the other hook shovel, under the other hook bucket. Just put property of on all of them, leave them there for a while and see if, honesty works. Might.
But we'll leave that off the sign.
I'm gonna put on the sign common tools and dugout.
Okay.
Cause yeah, somebody will need, if you got some kids down there and the pitcher digs out the mound and then, you want them to clean it up and they realize that there's tools in the dugout, that would be a great thing. See how it goes. I mean, a rake and a bucket and a shovel What are we talking about? 30 bucks?
I mean, we have all the stuff already. I gotta buy the hooks. You know,
They won't steal the hooks.
I
Hopefully.
don't know. So I put one of the trash cans at River Road. It's bent. I think somebody hit it with something and one of the lids doesn't go on very well. So I went and I bought a bungee cord set and I put a bungee cord around it so that it held on the lid very securely. And then it was on there 3 days. When I went back, somebody
Gone.
stole it.
The lid or the bungee cord?
Bungee cord.
Don't buy any more bungee cords.
Well, now I'm thinking about seeing if I could put a bungee cord on there with a lock somehow so that you can't take it off unless you cut the bungee cord.
Yeah, so you just take the hook on the bungee cord and squeeze it with a pair of channel locks. Pretty unlikely that some little ne'er-do-well's got channel locks in his back pocket. Punks don't carry tools generally.
Generally.
But that might work. That might work. All right. Any other sign ideas? I'm gonna look up that sign that you had, Stuart, too, and I'll add a cut of that so that we have something to reference.
Okay.
I will try and get this out tomorrow. All right, anything else besides those items that we came up with for the signs?
We'll send it out. Maybe someone will have an idea.
Yeah, I think this is the way to do it. Then you got eyes on it and makes more sense. So I
We,
think next, oh, go ahead, Eddie.
We have a no smoking sign, or is that not included?
Should we
On a
put,
road, no smoking or
Question
vaping.
is,
I like that, no
Can
smoking.
we put
or
down no
vaping?
smoking of marijuana or something? I don't know.
Just no smoking is probably pretty good.
Yeah,
Or vaping. I like that, Stuart. That should go on both
I
sides.
think you have to, because people will say, I'm not smoking, I'm vaping.
Yep. They call those people idiots.
Okay, put
Okay.
that on the sign too, no idiot.
That would probably take care of everything. You wouldn't need all those other ones.
Kill all the gophers, no one will come to the golf course.
Carl, I told you to kill the gophers. All right.
Caddyshack. That was Caddyshack, way over
Yeah,
here.
that was the best.
All right.
Are we on to political sponsors?
Yep.
Political sponsors for 5? So Alan had, is that a state senator that wants to be a platinum
I
donor?
believe it's state senate. Yep. He wanted to sponsor one of the concerts for $800, and Erica didn't quite like the idea, so she also ran it by the town lawyer, and the town lawyer said he strongly opposes the idea. I said, I brought up to her, I said, I just don't see the difference between letting certain groups, political groups, give money and we're just flat out denying this person here. I can't honestly remember what she told me in response, but
He just thought we should stay away from political leanings, but we're not really leaning political. First of all, his ad doesn't even say what party he's affiliated with, which I thought was smart. And then, like Alan said, we put a disclaimer in that says, Wellington Parks and Rec Department does not support this candidate or something to that nature, right?
so
Yes.
I should say this.
Careful.
She called me into the office the other day to say that the commission will come up with their decision. However, she may decide to step in and overrule anyway.
Let's see what happens.
So I guess the most we can do is really come up with what we would like to do, and then she will either block it or she won't, I guess.
First, we have to decide if of the 5 members, everybody is for or against it. So
Mhm.
primarily, how do you guys feel?
Well, before
For
we get to that, yeah, I'm for it. I mean, if the town, excuse me, for Wellington Day accepts advertisements from the Democrats or the Republicans, just general Democratic town party, don't they do, isn't that something you mentioned, Alan?
Yep. Pretty much every single event that I've been a part of where we're asking for sponsors, the tree lighting, Wellington Day, concerts at the park, whatever it is, there's always the Democratic committee and the Republican committee, and they both do it. And it's always the same amount from both sides as well.
So what do they
Yeah.
do? What does the ad say?
Well, it's a little bit different with these other situations. So when they're sponsoring a tree, there really is no ad at all. It's just a little card that goes in front of the tree and it says sponsored by Wellington Democratic, committee or Republican committee, whatever it is. And then the concerts at the park is a little different based on how much money the sponsor is giving towards the event. So for $100, they don't get much. They get to be in the booklet, and they get something else too. I think they get their name read off at the performance. So the performer will say, this is sponsored by X, Y, and Z. So there really is no signage or anything like that.
But they've sponsored and they get mentioned. So
Yes.
the Democratic and Republican parties have sponsored the park series in the past.
Yes, I've already, taken money from them for this event.
And in the booklet, what will it say in their quarter page or whatever page?
So there's even different differences in what you get in the booklet. So for a certain amount of money, you just get listed like on a page. Thank you for blah, 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 all the way down. You have to pay even more money to get like an ad space on one of the pages. Like you can get a quarter page, a half page, a whole page based on how much you give.
Have
So
they done that?
no, I don't have anything from that. I don't think I have anything from them. And I'm not sure $100 is even enough to get a spot in the booklet. I'm not sure. It's all stuff that's not on the top of my head right now.
Okay.
Well,
We
I
have
mean,
had
my feeling is,
We've had political sponsorship in the past. Absolutely. Absolutely sure of that.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say, Eddie?
Stuart, you're muted. Stuart, you're gonna say, Stu, you're muted if you're speaking.
Go ahead, Ed.
Okay, so anyway, I don't know why I don't think we really should deny anyone the right to have placed an ad.
But
I
I
mean-
think there's kiddingly, I said that thing about Little League and Bad News Bears. You don't want Electric Blue to sponsor a concert. I don't think we do.
Or a
Right?
neo-Nazi group or whatever.
Right. So there will be some groups I think that we would deny. But that would be
Yeah,
on
you got
a
a
case-by-case
point.
basis.
Yeah.
I don't see
Well,
this negative, I don't see a negative impact here. Especially if
Me
he's
neither.
not even mentioning his party affiliation.
I looked
So-
at the ad, it looked completely appropriate to me.
And it's generic.
Yeah.
yeah,
So to get us at 10,000 feet, my comment would be, we need to be as non-political as possible, right? And I think when we discuss this sort of thing, we nudge that a little bit. And the disclaimer is really important. And his ad is pretty in your face. I'm running for state senator. And I don't know if the insinuation is that he's going to be able to make a speech or he's going to be mentioned during the concert. And I think the more we go above and beyond the banner, I think the more we become political.
Agreed.
I think we need to be as apolitical as possible, live up to the letter of what they get, which is the banner, but I would be concerned about mentioning his name during the concert, having him get up for applause. I mean, then we're nudging that non-political thing pretty good. That's my only comment.
So during the concert, I think that, as Alan says, whoever's performing that night would say, tonight's concert is brought to you by, and they would say that person's name.
It's just a name. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't, we're not going to say it's brought to you by political party running for this office. We would just say it's brought to you by this person,
Right.
Okay.
you know?
I mean, if Mike's company or Ed's company decided to donate money, there's no expectation that you guys would stand up and say, I build the best decks in town, or I'm the best lawyer in town. That never happens.
No,
But in this case, Stuart's right. We need to make a point, if we're gonna accept this guy's money, to tell him that he can be there if he wants, but he's not gonna be acknowledged, and there's no speech making.
I don't think anyone puts an ad in expecting to make a speech. I
don't
think,
either.
I don't know.
Either.
I don't
No.
even think we have to have them read off at the concert. Just put the ad in and
Yeah,
that's it.
Exactly, yep.
Yeah, I
I've always
agree.
done- That's always been done in the past, though.
Yeah. It's part of the deal. And I didn't
Well, what's-
alter it.
what-
I just took the same framework that was already established, and that's what I sent out for this year. Like, if you give this much money, you get your name said in the event,
So particular sponsors will use the word twice, sponsor one night. We're not reading all the sponsors off every
It's a
concert.
one night thing. Yep. So
Yeah.
they get to pick who they want, in case they have a favorite
Hmm.
performer, or if they don't, they'll just say, I don't care who I sponsor, here's the money. And then you just kind of pick one for them.
But an $800 sponsorship is really sponsoring that entire concert.
Well, that's how it was in the past, but
I don't
that's
know about that.
because I
I
remember.
Go ahead, Alan.
So I looked at some of the paperwork from a few years ago, and it was, if you spent $800, you were a solo event sponsor, something along those lines. So you were the only person for that particular one. Nobody else could get their name read off or anything like that. But they went away from that. Whoever did it last year or the year before, they didn't do that anymore. So you can have multiple sponsors on any event.
Okay. And they
See,
just
my
get-
feeling, or I thought if you gave money as a sponsor, it just went to the whole series for all the concerts. And you have a pile of money, and this group costs $500, and this group costs, $650 or $800, and you're putting your money towards the concert series, and we love you for that, and that's it. I don't know that we have to break it down concert by concert.
we have in the past.
we have,
Going forward,
I know.
but we have.
I know
You can't-
we have, but I don't know why we do that.
you can't read a whole
That's all.
list. You can't read the whole list of sponsors during the concert. It'd be too long. So you give one sponsor to one concert. And every concert has one. If,
All right, if
if
it's important for people, that's fine.
somebody only gives $300 and another guy gives 300, and those two people cover one concert, then you'd combine those two for the one concert. But
Right. I don't think mentioning somebody's name is a big deal. I think the biggest problem people are gonna have is there's gonna be a banner, and where does it go?
It goes on the baseball field fence.
Just for that night?
No, it's going to stay up until November.
So there's a thought, fellas.
What's wrong with that?
Muted.
It's
Yeah,
that,
what's wrong?
that's what they're buying.
Yeah.
I'm just
We'll take their money.
devil's advocate.
Huh?
Just being devil's advocate here.
With what? What's gonna happen?
Yeah.
It's a political sign. I think that's why our selectman is not happy about it. I'm still okay with it. But
I
I'm
think-
just running down the reasons other people may not be.
So I've had people tell me that they think the problem is That sign's going to be there. People are going to be walking, driving past the park all the time, and they're going to see this sign. Why is the town letting this guy who's running for a very specific thing with a very specific party advertise like this? I think that's what the question is going to be for people who aren't informed. And that's the concern by,
Yeah.
All right,
people-
if that's the case, then why does the town allow all the political parties and politicians to put signs on the town green? Well, they put, I mean, there's signs everywhere. This is, I don't get
The
it. There's
the signs you're
there's-
talking about are limited to a certain amount of time for an election.
All those signs are the same size.
Whatever.
We're looking at a bigger banner here that's gonna stay up for most of the summer, publicizing a run for the Senate. And I think it's worth this discussion.
Agreed.
Well, we're having it, but I don't see what the problem is.
Sorry about that.
So now that we've kind of talked about it a little bit, I'll let you know a little bit more. So I contacted this person to let them know that we need to pump the brakes because we need to have a discussion about it, and it could be a potential issue with the town. He says he's also willing to sponsor the event as an individual as opposed to a political figure. So what that means, I'm not sure. And I'm also not sure if he's going to want to give $800 for that. If he's just Joe Schmo, he might just want to give $200, And another thought that I had is I wonder if could we ask him to change the sign a little bit and just say, we can have his face up on there and said, sponsored by his name. Doesn't say anything about politics at all, but it's still kind of getting him his face out there. I think that's really what he wants,
Yeah, so a non-political sign from a average person, and if people realize he's running for office, that's fine. But now it's not a political
Yeah.
sign.
That's a coincidence.
It's a coinkydink.
No one's gonna know the guy's running for office. I never heard the guy before. If I just see some guy sign up there, I have no idea that he's running for office. Listen, either we do it all in or all out. That's the way I look at it. I say, let the guy put his sign up. I mean, maybe we talk to Erica, have her, I don't know. I don't know why the town attorney would say we can't do it.
I know, I'm with Eddie.
I think the guy's afraid of his own shadow or something. I don't get it.
I'm guessing that they just want to remain apolitical, but I lost my train of thought
I
here.
understand. The town's all about politics, and now all of a sudden we're apolitical.
Well,
And I'm not trying to give you a hard time, Joe.
No. The bottom line is, obviously, there's a few things like hanging in the wind here, like ARPA money and
Okay.
I'm not saying this would change that, but if, 100 people that leaned left found out that we were putting up a ad for someone running Republican for the Senate, you may get 100 people that show up and go no at the ARPA vote. Just putting that out there. I'm not saying that will happen or it should happen, but human nature dictates that something like that could happen.
Well, would it warrant us approaching the Board of Selectmen to discuss it at one of their meetings?
Or possibly just having a real conversation with Erica, or have we done this in the past? I mean, in the Little League field, has there ever been a big banner up that says, vote for Joe Smith?
I don't know.
I don't remember
I don't
that
remember.
happening.
I never recall that. It was always a business
Right,
typically.
right. So, and I get that we want the money, and it wouldn't bother me if there was his opposing Democratic state senator that wanted to put a banner up and he wanted to put a banner up. But I just, we're setting a precedent here, I guess is what I'm saying.
All right.
So we have to be reasonable about how we do this.
I think
Yeah, I
it's
agree.
important to deliberate, and, I do talk to other towns to find out their experiences, and, that's why I got the phrase, we try to be as apolitical as possible, and that came from other towns, and they don't have experiences from candidates running for office wanting to put banners up. I think the banner might be the biggest problem. It's not the donation.
Right, I agree.
We're,
It's
we're gonna
bad.
leave a banner up in that park that's, I don't know, that's 10 feet, 8 feet.
3
And
by 8,
it's,
3 by 8.
3 by
I
8.
thought it was a lot bigger, I'm sorry.
That's still pretty big, and his face is on it.
And it'll stand out, it'll stick out.
Yeah,
So I
I'm
know when
okay
I,
with it. I'm
when
okay
I-
with it, but I can think of 20 people that aren't easily.
there will be people that will not like it.
So we have to be a little careful.
We do.
I think we need a 3-stage attack here. That's not the right wording, but come up with a decision of what we want to do here. And then if it doesn't work, what's the next plan down? Is it to ask him to alter the sign so that it's not political? Maybe he'd be willing to do that. Or is it to go back to him and say, we can't do this, but you can sponsor it as an individual? And then how much money do you want to sponsor at that point? I just think that we need to know what to do in layers here, because we might decide something and might get shot down by Erica, and then I need to know what to do next.
I think the sign that he proposed is at that point where we want to end up. In other words, it doesn't mention the political party. It doesn't mention any political views. It just says he's running for office. That's all it says. It doesn't say, I'm for or against Roe v. Wade, none of that stuff.
Right.
And I think that's where we want to be, is where his ad is at. So I think we need to, either have a discussion with Erica or the selectmen, or however we want to do this, and just air this out. Because listen, we're always been strapped for cash, and this would be very helpful to get those monies.
Yep.
It would, but at the same time, we're getting maybe $197,000 to rebuild a field. So you're talking about
Yeah.
$800 that could cause a big problem. I'm not saying no, I'm just bringing up all the arguments that we're gonna hear from other people. And have you talked to any other rec directors, Alan, to see if they've done this in the past?
Not about this, no.
Can you do that tomorrow?
Yeah.
Alan Ashford and.
Yeah.
I mean, you must have like a group of guys that do your job and gals that talk about things.
Well, I'll talk to Ashford. We communicate pretty well, and she gets back to me quickly. The other rec directors, like I know 5 others because of basketball season, and I might not hear back from them at all.
But send them an email and see.
Yeah.
How about, I hate to keep saying this, but how about Maureen? She's in a large town.
I spoke to her.
And what was her feedback?
She does her best to be apolitical as possible.
That's where you got
And
that.
she's never had a situation where a political candidate donated, that she had to worry about it.
Yeah.
That was her comment.
Okay.
So one other thing is, I don't want to, say that this is a rush, but it is kind of a rush. We sort of need to know what's going on by the end of the week, because I gotta plan for a lot of these things. I gotta have the booklet made. I gotta plan if, we're gonna have a sign made, all sorts of things like that. So the longer we wait, the worse it is for getting the event going,
I agree.
Well, I don't know how we're going to pull it off this week. I don't know.
We're doing something that's controversial for the money. And we're opening
I don't
ourselves
think it's-
up. We're opening ourselves up for criticism. The money's good. And we're
I don't
saying,
think
oh,
it's
we
that-
need the money, let's just do it.
Do we have unsponsored concerts? Do we need the money?
Yeah, he needs some money.
I don't see it being all that terribly controversial, plain
I
vanilla
don't-
advertising.
I don't either. I don't think it'll be causing any controversial stuff.
I think it will.
So do I. So do I.
That's why we're talking about this for, you know,
Yeah,
I'm okay with it, but it's my personal point of view. And, I'm conservative. I didn't know he was conservative or liberal until I looked him up and I found out he was. And so I could see someone saying, well, you guys want that because that's how you lean. That's where Stuart's point of remaining apolitical comes in, because now it doesn't matter how we feel about it. It's the way people conceive of how we feel about it.
yeah.
So what do you,
The-
I don't
the
think I've
biggest
ever
problem I
been,
have is with the banner. And I think if we put it all in a program book, I think it kind of goes away. You don't get a lot of people reading program books. And if you put an ad in there that is a little bigger than other ads, he might not want that. But I think we need to come up with something that's gonna diminish that banner and not be so glaring when people walk in, and have it up all summer.
Right.
That's gonna be a problem.
I think this conversation tonight is not about just this one item. We're gonna set a precedent tonight going forward.
Mhm.
So you do or don't have to worry about something like this down the road. You know whether we're gonna accept this or not accept it. Now, to Stuart's point, it wouldn't be a bad idea to call the guy and say, we all discussed this and we're feeling a little leery about it.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. What, half of us feel leery about it.
Okay, half of us feel leery about it.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
Well, we're one board.
We are
So,
one board.
No, but we could say the members have different views on it, and we're still
Mhm.
we're struggling with it. We're just trying to
Yeah.
make we haven't
Fair.
reached a consensus yet.
Right.
Members of the board, some members of the board feel, how's that? That better?
This is
so is that what
where
you want me to do? You want me to contact him and sort of throw it out there and see what he says?
Well, what are you gonna say? I mean, what are you gonna offer?
I'm gonna see if he wants to give $800 as an individual, I guess. I mean, if
Well,
it
I
were
think he's
me,
trying to-
I'm
Yeah.
paying $800 for advertising because I'm running for a political office, and then they say you can't do that. I'm gonna go, I'm not giving you $800 anymore. I'm not advertising the way I want to. You
He's
know?
looking for grassroots advertising, and this is about as grassroots as it gets. To me. And
Which
if I
side
didn't
of
have to
the
worry
fence-
about all the other ancillary things that this affects, I would just say, yeah, fine. But the more I think about this, especially with the fact that you went to an ARPA meeting today, and that needs to be finalized with the town vote. To me, that's the biggest thing that's bothering me all of a sudden.
Well, Joe, what would your thoughts be if the guy's willing to do it as an individual, but yet his banner is gonna have his picture on it? Does that change it? Or is the fact that there's no political advertisement in his message, but his picture's there?
I'm
So-
okay with that. He's also a businessman. He's a doctor.
Okay,
So
so if he uses his business, say by Dr. blah, 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 physiotherapist or whatever, that would be okay.
absolutely.
Well, then maybe that's the way you go. You ask him if he's willing to do it as an individual, using his medical practice as his
Yeah,
Hmm.
banner. Just
So we
like
can do
Wilmington-
that, but it
like
also isn't gonna, it's not gonna set the precedent, right? Because we need to figure, because it could happen next year. Some other person could come and do it, and we're gonna be in the exact same boat, right? We really just we skated by because the guy was willing to
Well,
change it.
so
Yeah.
So then our position is that we don't allow political ads. So how simple is that?
I think that's what we're talking about here. Setting some kind of a precedent.
It's not like we got 12 different groups trying to give us money and we're afraid we're not going to get any money. This is one guy, one time in the last 6 years.
Right.
So if we disallow all political ads, that's the end of it. And if we lose this one guy, so we lose this one guy.
The other thing, I mean, I sort of touched on it before, is if we say no to this guy, does that mean going forward, we have to say no to the Wellington Democrat committee and the Wellington Republican committee because they're political?
Yeah, that's good. That's a
We would have to say
good
no.
point.
We're all in, we're all out, one or the other.
That's a good point. So,
Tell those goddamn Republicans and Democrats.
Sentinels.
here's the problem. Like, I've not seen these ads from the other parties in town. Never been a banner. Do you want me to draft a email to Erica?
Yes, please.
What are you gonna say?
I'm gonna say that we had this long, drawn out discussion and that we would love to take the money, but yes, we feel maybe we are getting political by doing it. And at the same time, if we're gonna set a precedent, we have taken money from the Democrat and Republican parties in town and advertised that donation in our flyer. Am I saying that right, Alan?
Yep.
Do you have any old flyers that we could look at?
I do. I have a couple in my office.
Can you take a couple pictures and
Yep.
email the group
Yep.
tomorrow morning? You gonna be in there?
Yep.
I'd like to see that. Billy got mad and he went away. I see that. I hate walking on eggshells, and in the business I am, I rarely have to because we're independent, but we're talking about taking a lot of government money to do something good for the town versus advertising for a political person that is hopefully going to do something good for the town. But we're now opening ourselves up to, if 6 people next year from different parties want to have a big poster out on that fence, now we've got 6 different political posters on that fence. We have become political.
I don't know that again, if it's just neutral without advocating any particular viewpoint other than vote for me, I don't see that.
But
as
my
anything
point is,
wrong.
if we do it this year and next year, a bunch of other people say, wow, what a great opportunity. I'm going to be a platinum sponsor and get my face on that baseball field for the next 4 months.
That'd be
We're
great.
setting a precedent with this.
Does it matter if it's a committee like the Republican committee versus a single person running as a Republican?
It
That's a
might,
good point too,
it
because
might.
yeah, no individual political person has put in a sign that says, vote for me, or just, I'm running for state senate. Is that right, Al? Or has it just been blanket party?
I think it's blanket party.
Yeah.
The other thing that I think about is somebody said the word opportunity, and that's another reason why I'm kind of in support of it, because if we get the opportunity is there for everybody, the guy who's running against this guy could also do the exact same thing if he wanted to, but he's choosing not to.
But you don't, well, I think if we've never done this in the past, most political people haven't thought about doing this. And if we do it next year, you may find out that a group of people would say, here's $800. That's peanuts to have my poster up on a baseball field for 4 months or 6 months. It's not
Do
money
it.
out of his pocket.
All right.
We'll take the money. If it's not advocating a particular point of view, the thing is, if you put up a Democrat town committee or Republican town committee advertisement, you put that up during the presidential election. You mean to tell me that's not advocating a particular, without saying it, It's not advocating a particular point of view. Of course it is. Vote Democrat, vote Republican, whatever. So I don't know. I understand your feeling, your concerns, Joe. I do. And you know, I think I don't know. Again, it's a tough decision. It's a tough decision. I think what if we went to Erica in your email, in other words, say, we wouldn't advocate a viewpoint for, or, any particular political viewpoints, and it doesn't even mention the guy's party. He's just saying, I'm running for Senate.
I had
No,
this
what's-
conversation with her last week.
Oh, you did?
Hmm.
All right. And so she was not into it.
No,
Well, I think if we send an email, we'll just get that same response back again. So I don't know, whatever you guys, whatever people want to do. It's, if you want, we can just vote and it goes one way or the other. It doesn't matter to me. We'll just move on.
so do you want to do that? Do you want to sleep on it?
My concern is the town is saying no. Why would we want to go ahead with it?
You're
If the
saying the
town
town, you
attorney
mean
is
the,
saying no, Ed, why would we say?
Well,
like we
they're
do,
they're
we're gonna do it?
recommending that we don't do it
Why
currently.
do-
It's just a
Did they
recommendation
give
for
a
now.
reason? What's the reason that who's the attorney? What's the reason? Why is he or she saying this?
The phrase that Erica used was to remain apolitical.
But you could push that agenda, Joe, with Erica and the town attorney saying, can you help us with some reasoning behind your decision?
Sure.
For an ad that doesn't mention a political party or a political viewpoint.
And then we
what's
can go
more
to this
American than
candidate,
running for
sorry, Ed. Then you can go to this candidate and say, the town, whatever the language is, we can't allow this sort of advertising. We will allow this, but we won't allow that. I mean, I don't know what that is, but that's what we're struggling with tonight.
Well, the bottom line is, do we allow political advertisements or not? And then I know you're saying the Democratic and Republican parties within the town have given donations, which are basically political advertising. That's our argument.
It's nice and neat because the Republicans do it for 100 and the Democrats do it for 100, so it's nice and neat. And nobody gets a hair across their butt.
Yep. Yeah.
Mm.
I think that we should not have a vote on this tonight, but that we should share an email tomorrow and talk about it a little bit. Are we okay with that, or do we want to vote right now?
That's fine.
Can we, so I've been told this more than once too. We're not allowed to make decisions over email. Can we have another special meeting next week? Maybe only about this subject, so,
Absolutely.
okay.
When do you have to print your flyer?
Well, I was hoping to have the flyer done by the end of this week, but it's not gonna happen, so we'll just, I'll wing it.
When's the first concert?
It is first week of July,
Okay.
but it takes time to
It does.
get stuff done,
Oh, I know, I'm just asking. Yeah. Okay.
Look, I started this whole meeting thinking it wasn't a big deal. And then when I find out that the possibility of rebuilding the park with $197,000 of ARPA money is up in the air and available to, it changes the dynamic for me.
Okay.
And you're talking about an $800 advertisement versus almost a $200,000 park improvement. And I'd hate to see one impact the other.
But Joe, you had a conversation with Erica. Is it worth one more?
Yes, it is. I believe it is.
Asking specific questions and, we're all in this together. I think it's important that she realizes that as well. We're not this band of gypsies.
We are not, but so without voting, I get the feeling that Billy's for it, Eddie's for it. I'm still up in the air, but I'm thinking because of the RAC money, I'm more apt to say I'm going to stay out of the political ads for this concert series. So if we had to vote right now, I think I'd be a no.
To take
And
it
I
at a
know I
higher
said-
level, to take it at a higher level, as you said earlier, Joe, we need a position going forward. What we will and won't take donations from, and maybe it's wide open. Maybe this is just our way of getting to, it's fine, but I don't think we're there yet.
All right. Can you wait one more week, Alan?
Yeah, I think next Monday probably should be the,
The final
hopefully
decision.
the end of it, so
Mhm.
I can get things done.
Okay. In the meantime, it wouldn't hurt to talk to that person that wants to donate $800 and just kind of give them an idea of what's going down and let them kind of think about it a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, he gave me his cell phone number. I'll give him a buzz.
What if the ARPA is approved on July 14, what if we took his donation on the 15th?
Eddie. Jesus.
I didn't hear that.
Look, I don't want to make that the premise of this whole thing, although I do feel inside of me. You're
Okay.
talking about Davy and Goliath here, and Davy's not helping us build a park.
Okay, all right, no problem. Not a big, I understand, I respect everyone's position on it as well. I want you all to know that, I really do. And this has been a good decision, good discussion, and whatever it is, I'll live with it. It's not a problem. It's fine.
Alan, I don't think it would hurt to give that person a call tomorrow and give them a synopsis of what we talked about. You know what we're talking about, and say, look, we would gladly accept, your personal ad and put your name on a banner and say, this concert, promoted by, sponsored by, and just his name.
You want to wait until you talk to Erica about that option? Before
Do
he,
you think
talk to
that's a
Erica
bad option?
before he
Get
talks
Erica
to
under
the
your
guy.
belt. Yeah, I agree. Get Erica under your belt. And the
Talk to
town
Erica.
attorney.
Ask Erica if she's okay with that, with his face on there as
And
an
just his name.
individual. Before Alan asks him if he's willing to do that.
Okay, I got
And,
you.
and he can have his face on it with the American flag waving behind it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Seriously, that's, Tony Guglielmo ran his insurance agency for years. Not that this is really plays into it, but he always had the same photo for his insurance. And I love Tony. He's a great guy.
Yeah,
Had his
agreed.
ad, his picture in the reminder. And then when it came time to running for election, everybody knew the guy so well and they had the same photo. Anyway,
Sure.
I guess I'm on a different track.
No,
talked
you're
to
not.
Eric-
No, I think you're making a
No.
point. Your point is he
Yeah.
put his face out there and you know who he is.
Yeah.
And
It's Coca-Cola. You know what Coca-Cola is because it's everywhere.
right.
And that's what this guy could maybe accomplish. He could still have his picture out there with his name, and it could be red, white, and blue around him or whatever, the flag, very patriotic looking.
Mhm.
And that's it. No
As long
message
as,
otherwise.
as long as Erica's all right with that.
I will have that conversation with you tomorrow. Do you guys agree with this?
Yeah,
I don't see any problem wrong with that at all. I mean,
Right.
Joe,
Great.
you gave money. If your company's logo had your face built into it, you know what I mean? We wouldn't even go there with this, it would just be, that's the Joe's logo for his
Yeah,
company.
yeah,
We
done
wouldn't even be
deal.
discussing it, it would just be on there.
Yeah,
That might-
but I'm not, but that's a business. It's,
Well,
there's,
but the other thing you ask Erica is if he puts his face on there with the name of his medical whatever business, does that change her?
or just a non-political ad, just him.
It's okay, in my book.
I think we're coming down
Right.
to, political advertising that's this exact thing might not be the best thing for the rec department. And
Person, a one-person ad. I think the Democratic committee versus the Republican committee is fine, but
right.
down to individuals running for a particular office, I think it's too narrow a focus.
Yep. Yeah, and I was all for this, but see, this is what happens when you chit chat with people.
Hmm. I think we've discussed this in great
I
length.
agree.
I think we need,
I'm-
what,
so-
you know, we can.
So I'm
move
gonna
on.
email Erica tomorrow and, or
Yeah.
I'll phone call her. And we'll talk about this and I'll suggest non-political with his picture and however he wants to do it that way and see what she says.
Sounds good. Thank you for doing that, Joe.
All right.
Thank you, Joe.
All right, fellas. Director's report.
Not much to report. A lot
Okay.
of the work that I've been doing over the past few weeks is all summer camp everything.
I believe it.
Just over the last few days since I put all that information out there on social media and on the website that summer camp is free for Wellington residents, I have been totally swamped by everyone. So I've been it's been a challenge, you know. I'm trying to take all the registration forms and make sure everybody's got all the forms turned in and get all the security deposits and log all that information into the computer. So I've been doing that and trying to slowly catch up on a few of the other things as well. Like getting all the summer employee paperwork in and all that sort of stuff. And then pretty much the remaining things are summer camp, or sorry, concerts in the park stuff, you know, like it's sitting there on my plate. I gotta get to it, you know. So hopefully I can wrap up summer camp by Thursday and be completely done with it so that I can move on to concerts in the park stuff.
Did you say you're taking deposits even though it's free?
Security deposits, yep. So the thinking behind it, actually it was brought up by members of the ARPA committee. The theory behind it is we have a limited number of spots, 50 per week. What people can do is sign up their kids, but then not necessarily send them, right? So there's no drawback to, hey, it's free. I signed them up. I don't feel like bringing them this week, you know,
Okay.
and then that spot is used up and it could have been used by someone else.
Sure.
So we created a policy to, you give a $50 security deposit before we even go into camp. We have a form, we explain it, and that money is gonna roll over to every week as long as the child goes to at least 3 days of camp during the week. So if they go to 3 days and miss 2, that's fine. The money rolls over to the next week to cover that week. And if any point they don't go the minimum 3 days, we're going to cash that check. And then they're going to have to give another one before they're allowed to go to the next week of camp. So it's
Okay.
basically a way to hold the parents and families accountable, I guess. You know, you signed up, you need to go, sort of deal.
Okay.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. What else?
That's pretty much it for that's what I've been doing the last couple weeks.
All right, then we have old business, but I don't think there is any, so we will pass on old business. New business? I don't think so, so we'll pass on that. And are you men willing to adjourn?
I
at
so move.
8:20?
I move for adjournment.
Second.
All right, fellas. And I will email you guys with what I find out tomorrow.
All right.
All right.
All right,
Sounds good.
Okay, thank you all.
Thanks.
take care, everybody.
Bye.
Good evening.
job,
Thank
Alan.
you
Good
all.
night.